Okay guys, we are back for this week's discussion on red flags if you're a home buyer in Florida. I'm going to hit some obvious things really quick because they're going to come up as some of the top things, but we're not really, this isn't what the topic is about this week, but you obviously know that we have a high amount of inventory right now, as does most of the other part of the country. We've got some issues with insurances depending on location that you live and the type of home. Assessments, water sewer conversions. This is Cape Coral specifically and some of our surrounding cities. These are all red flags that we all know about them. We know the traffic. We know they say higher cost of living, even though we're kind of in the middle for the entire United States. So a lot of things that get talked about that I think are over dramatized sometimes, and in most cases, maybe not getting a fair shake. But the red flags we're talking about today are specific to homes, locations, and things of that sort. When you are looking to purchase in Florida, you do have to look at certain things like the location. I know everybody says location, 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 and it's true. More so here than in some other places because many of our communities are mixed use communities or subdivisions. And what that means is you can have a commercial building next to a school, next to a multifamily home, next to a single family home. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but it happens. And this is where you need some professional guidance. Get a real estate agent like myself. I've been in real estate for 21 years now. So if you want to work with somebody that knows what's going on, just reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you out. Anyway, back to our red flags. One of the top red flags that were noted is seeing cracks in the foundation. Okay, one thing about Florida is we are sand-based. The ground here is very loose in most cases. They do have compaction tests and everything that have to be done in order to build on top of it. And we don't have a lot of issues with foundations per se. Now, settling is going to happen in every home. You will see cracks, especially in the concrete. They're usually hairline cracks. What they're talking about is those cracks get larger. You get larger cracks, then you want to start considering some remedies to fix it. It's not overly common, but it can happen. If you see cracks down the side of your walls that are in a step kind of a fashion, that's because the way the blocks are stacked before they put the stucco over the front. So if you're starting to see those cracks come through, there could be something going on with the foundation. So this could be a reason that you might want to consider not purchasing that home. The other thing to note about cracks is be very careful as to where you see them. We were in one home. I had this as a listing. It was a former client that bought for me and wanted me to sell his home. It was an investment home, never really used it a whole lot. But they had cracks in the corners of the walls from ceiling to the floor. Now, that could be problematic. So you definitely want to get something like that checked out. And what we found in this particular case is the whole side of the home dropped about an inch. So we had to have a company come in and raise the house that inch on steel rods that went 25 feet into the ground, jacked up the house, and has a lifetime warranty going forward. So everything is fixable. Even a foundation issue that you think is impossible, we got it fixed and got a lifetime warranty on it. So I just caution you to be looking very closely at these things. Work closely with your inspector and make sure if there's anything that has cause for concern that you're digging in deeper to get the answers. Another red flag is the price is unreasonably low for no good reason. You can't figure it out. So what I did is I went in and looked at some of our cheapest, meaning lowest priced homes, single family homes in the Cape Coral area. And one thing that I see that's very common among all of them is that it's either an older home, a smaller home, or in a neighborhood that could have flooding issues, could have water sewer assessment issues. And some of them aren't even finished. I mean, literally you're taking over a home that somebody started and it's not got a driveway. It doesn't have any paint on it, no cabinets, might just be bare studs inside. Those are the kinds of things you're going to get for these lower prices. And I'm going to tell you what, it's probably not even worth what they're asking because they're still in the 200s for basically a shell of a home. So that's the kind of thing that you want to be looking at. If that price is just unbelievably low, look deeper. Get your agent to dig in, find out what's going on. What's the history of this home? Try to reach out to a previous real estate agent that had the listing and see if they'll disclose some stuff to you. There's got to be something that drives why that price is so low, especially in this market where everybody wants to overprice. Red flag number 3. Yeah, this one is something I've been talking about recently. The buyer's agent is also the seller's agent. Yeah, that's a problem. We've talked about this before. Transaction agents also would be known as dual agency in other states. We can't practice dual agency, so we conveniently call it transaction brokerage. Now, a transaction broker is only responsible for the successful completion of the transaction. They shouldn't have any fiduciary duties on either side. They're trying to stay neutral through the transaction, because you, as a transaction broker, you can't favor one side or the other. That's where it falls short. You almost need another person to be able to step in for the other side, because you can't negotiate against yourself, right? How are you going to get the right price? How do you know that you're going to get a fair price? There's no way to do that. So I'm imploring you, if you go to purchase a home in Florida, have your own representation for you. Don't use the same agent that the seller's using. It's gonna cause problems, and you're gonna wonder for the entirety of you owning that home, did I get a fair shake on this? Okay, red flag number 4. The house keeps going back on the market. There's multiple reasons for this, so I don't even want to pretend that it's all going to be about condition of the home or anything like that, but I will say that an inspection going sideways is one reason. This is also a due diligence period. So when you hear inspection, it's also due diligence. Due diligence means that you're going to do all your fact checking on things like insurances, taxes, anything. If you're going to check invoices because they had a full remodel. We're going to talk about remodels in a minute, so hang in there. Lots of things you want to know about that, especially in this area. Anyway, you don't have all the information unless the agent's willing to share it with you. And then you have to question, well, is this accurate? But I can tell you that contracts can fall out for numerous reasons. Can be a buyer default. Maybe they went out and bought a new car, some furniture, and they don't qualify anymore. It could be the condition of the home. It just isn't up to spec, and if it had an inspection report and there's a lot of things and the seller wouldn't fix them. So you can see where I'm going with this. There's a lot of different reasons why something can fall out. But if you see it fall out repeatedly, there could be something either with the seller situation or with the house itself. And when I say the seller situation, we had one recently that our buyer wanted the home, but there was some outstanding litigation that was not completed yet. And you cannot transfer a property if there is some kind of legal action on the property. Now, you can try to take it over and get a quiet title on it, but I'm just telling you that it's going to probably be more than you want to take on, and it'd be more in your best interest to look for another home. Again, inventory is high. We have more homes to choose from. But yeah, if it keeps coming on and off the market, look a little deeper before you settle in on that. Okay, the next one is the house hasn't sold at all. And really what they're saying is it hasn't gotten any offers. And we know there's numerous reasons for this as well. First thing is, did you present it well? Did you take did the agent take the pictures with a cell phone, or did you hire a professional photographer? That makes all the difference in the world. Another thing is the price reasonable, or is it way out of line? Because even if you have showings, I mean, you could have 15 showings and no offers, and you say, well, why am I not getting offers? Well, we found out the other week because one of our people was talking about putting in a super low offer. And the one thing we caution them about is the sellers could become insulted. And if they're insulted, tell me the chances of successfully negotiating a deal from that standpoint. You already made them feel awkward and bad about the situation, and now you want to see if you can finagle some money out of them. Probably not the good angle to go from. A house not selling, again, numerous reasons like everything else, but in this particular case, it's usually going to come down to the price, the condition, the location, and maybe even the seller's plans. If they say they need to stay in the home and lease it back for 6 months, that's another condition you can't do anything about. But that could be another reason why you're not getting any offers, because the situation doesn't behoove the buyer. And that's what the buyer's after. They want the best of everything. Okay, number six, you see water stains. Okay, water stains, yes, they're an indication of a leak in some cases. Can also be condensation, especially if it's around your vents, your AC vents. But these water stains, we've noticed them coming in on many properties, and you're automatically thinking, well, is there a roof leak? Sometimes there's a roof leak. If it's an older roof, if there's a repair that was done in a section and it's not done properly, if the boot over one of your pipes that goes through the roof, if the rubber boot is not fastened properly, then what can happen is you're going to get the water down through that spout, and it's going to leave water spots. It happened to me. I ended up with black mold. Had to have the builder come out and fix it, repair the drywall, and get a clean bill of health. So when we're talking about water stains, it can again be from a roof leak. The other thing that we found out after Hurricane Ian, the winds were so intense. I mean, they said it was Category 4, but many believe it was Category 5, 150 mile an hour winds plus. What was happening is the water was being blown into the exhaust vents. And I'll show you right now what an exhaust vent looks like. Right up on top of that roof, if we can zoom in enough. See that gray roof over there? And you've got those 3 metal rectangles right up where the palms are. Those are the vents. What was happening is the vents were allowing the water to be blown in, and it was dripping then down into the insulation and eventually onto the drywall. So it isn't always a leak that makes those water stains apparent, but if you're the seller, get it checked, make sure there's no leaks, and then paint it. You won't have any questions at that point. Number 7, something smells off. We know that this is never a good thing. We talk all the time about pet odors and stuff like that. If you have a dog that's been peeing in the house, get that remedied first. If you have a litter box, make sure it stays clean. Many things you need to take care of, but one that's a big one a lot of people totally miss is when they leave the area, especially when they're seasonal folks, they leave the AC at 80, 82, 84. It's like, whoa, guys, no. Do not leave your AC any higher than 78 degrees. Surface mold is a real thing here. If you leave it too warm due to our humidity, and especially during the summer months, you're going to end up with surface mold on everything. I had a buyer that we were walking through one condo, loved it to death, amazing, everything about it was perfect, wanted to be in this golfing community next to where their brother lived, and it had surface mold. After the inspection, we find this out. And in order to fix this, you have to clean every surface inside the house. My folks says, look, man, that's way too much of an undertaking. This is currently our second home, and we're not trying to take on a project. So smells come from certain things. Make sure you remove as many of them as possible, and don't overpower the people with deodorants and smell good stuff and sprays and all that, because many people are sensitive to that. And then what ends up happening is you turn them off because they can't even stay in the house. The odors have literally chased them out. So try not to have those extra scents and things in the house if you don't need them. When I was selling new homes with these national builders, every morning I had to go in and bake cookies just to have the baked cookie smell. The home smelling good is definitely a positive. So take care of any odors if you got them. All right, number 8, the roof has obvious wear and tear. Now there's one telltale sign, and it's only unfortunately on shingles, is the corners of the shingles will start to curl up. They'll roll up a little bit. It'll look like the coloration is kind of dull. You'll see a lot of granules that'll be in the gutters. That tells you that all the little I don't know, stones or whatever that are on there, they're rubbing off, whether it's a leaf on a palm that keeps rubbing there and takes it off, or it could just be over time. The winds and rains just wash that stuff right off. Roof condition is big. Insurances love nice roofs. Insurance loves metal roofs, tile roofs, because they tend to last longer. But if you are going to have a shingle roof, just know that you're most likely only going to get 10 to 15 years out of it before they want that changed too. Okay guys, a small faux pas. I was doing the countdown from 1 to 10, 10 to 1, whatever it is, and missed number 9. And this one I have to just bring to you only because it is important. The house has been recently renovated. That is another red flag. And one of the reasons why it's a red flag here is because of the hurricanes and the flooding. We normally don't get flooding, water intrusion, all that, but Ian was one of the worst. It was actually the worst we ever experienced in this area. And there was water intrusion on many homes. And we don't know that all of them were remediated by professionals. So Joe Blow or Handy Harry or whoever else it is could have been doing the repairs. Was it remediated properly? We don't know. There's nothing that we can do to give you certainty in that. An inspection can tell you some things as to whether it was repaired properly, but as far as remediation of like mold and stuff like that, the only thing you can do is probably get an air quality test to make sure you don't have mold in the house. But invoices, I ask people to get invoices, see who did the work. Are they professionals? Do they have a good track record? Does the Better Business Bureau still think they're an A-rated business? All those things, find them out, because you could be taking on somebody's problems that came by way of that renovation, just making it look pretty again and covering things up. Number 10, this is a big one. The whole neighborhood's for sale. And we don't mean literally, but there are many, many, many homes for sale in the neighborhood. And this could be coming from many factors. It could be the HOA is now run amok and they're problematic for everybody. It could be that there's some bad neighbors in there. Nobody wants to deal with it anymore. It could be that a new project is being put in right nearby you. I've told you about these apartment complexes. They're throwing them right up in the middle of a residential neighborhood because the city owns the land. But did all those people know that was going to happen when they bought their homes? Of course they didn't. So this is one that's really tough. If there's a lot of for sale signs, it could even be an area that flooded from these past storms. You name it, it could be anything. But if there's a number of properties for sale, try to get as much information as you can. I always recommend to my folks, not only, of course, to drive the neighborhoods, to feel them out and see how you like them, but hey, if you're one of those people that's okay with talking to strangers, talk to some of the neighbors, get the story. There's some people out there that'll tell you stuff that you'd never believe they'd tell you, but they do. So ask questions. The bottom line is there's always going to be some kind of red flags that are going to come up when you're in this process. The best thing you can do is just wade your way through it, find out the most that you can, get a really, really good real estate agent to help you through this process, and make sure that, hey, that real estate agent should be using all their trade help to help us through the process too. Whether it's the insurance people, the inspectors, if you have a roofer and need a roof quote, or to find out what the life of it's left. There's many different things that you can do, but having somebody that's battling for you on your side is always in your best interest. So if this video hasn't answered all your questions, check out one of these other videos. And if you have any more questions past that you just can't get off the videos, call, text, email, whatever you want to do. We'll jump on a Zoom call. You can use the app, whatever it is, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.